so I get to re-record again because my mic wasn't on. I love that. So I should be faster this time. Here I have about 10 minutes of gameplay footage that I condensed down from about an hour and a half of TGC live gameplay. I played about 7 games, and I was bored editing when I started editing the hour and a half down, trying to talk over it, deal with my mumbling and stuff. But I was like, nah, no one wants to watch this, so I just took notes about the games and cut the footage down to about 10 minutes of highlights. I'll talk about the important things that I gleaned from these games and make this 10 minutes into hopefully about 20 minutes with me pausing and talking about stuff. But it should be much better than watching me mumble about TCG Live for an hour and a half when you yourself could just skip through this video a bit, get what you wanted to know, and go play the deck or whatever else other deck you're playing yourself on your own TCG Live. So let's get into it. Game 1 here, I play against one deck that I've been scared of called Zoroark. But I do win, and I will explain why. But first thing first, I almost donk. I donk not super often, not poison deck often, but I donk more often than other decks do, because if I'm going second, I'm pretty consistently hitting 90 in situations like this, but I don't here. That's okay. And Zoroark scares me because they play Duraludon, and my Pokemon are weak to fire, and they take that 2 prizes with the metal pretty easily. So here, I have Arven in hand, so I decide, you know what? Let me grab that Prime Catcher, let me take that Duraludon. I don't mind if he sets up in Zoroark here and swings 170, my guy will eat it. I'd rather him not hit with the fire damage. So I take 2 prizes and have a solid lead. Here my Cram is set up. They do that thing where they counter catcher me and try to stall me because Snorlax is a fat retreat count, but I play Latias EX and people be wasting those gusting elements. So with this setup Snorlax, a setup Cram, and the 3 prize lead, I'm cruising. I do set up the Duraludon as a habit because I like having outs to hit those Brave Slash numbers against decks like this that have 280 Pokemon. But with 3 prizes ahead and a softened up Zoroark, I'm cruising. I finish this knockout with the Cram, and I have a Snorlax that I can start swinging with as a backup as well. They do a great play here where they take 2 prizes, hitting the weakness of the Duraludon and then the Cram on the bench. But I have a Snorlax already set up, so I win this game. Next game is fun. Like I said, I take donks, and I donked in not the way I thought I would expect. So that's pretty funny. Here's a game I lose. It's Dragapult. I start with Fez and that sucks, but I don't lose my lesson. I bench it unnecessarily partway through this game and it causes me to lose. There I made a mistake because instead of putting an extra Pokemon down in the Ultra Ball, I thought, oh, I don't need to. I see Budew and get scared, but they whiff the ability to retreat into the Budew, so it's fine. But then I see that Bravery Charm, and that Bravery Charm is a new thing for me, especially in Dragapult. It makes that Budew harder to knock out, and I don't get that free 1 prize. So I settle for my 1 prize in the Dreepy, and I soften up the Dreepy on the bench. They played another tool on too. Yeah, I'm fair stamped, what sucks, but I play a lot of consistency pieces, so I'm fine because I have an Arven here. Oh, but yeah, actually that does slow me down. And that 1 damage on the Fez is a lot because now they can Dragapult, take that knockout like they do here because they're at setup, and soften up my Zacian for a knockout. So I'm already down. I'm already getting behind here. I do have a Snorlax partially set up, and I overthink it because even though Snorlax damages itself, the 6 damage counters from that Dragapult onto it doesn't knock it out. Yet I play around as if it does. I should have just pinched into it and then followed up the Cram, but I don't. I put a Fezzle in the bench. And you know what that means? They put 1 damage counter on it here in a bit, and they take a nice 3 prizes later on, and it's like, oh, annoying. So there should not be a Fez there with unnecessary damage on it. I should just be able to punch with my Moon like I do here, and I was able to put on the Latias EX because, I mean, the Fez was already there, but I get a knockout and they just have game. They have the 1 energy they need there. Yep, they evolve and then can boss your game. And if the Fez wasn't there, there would have been another similar situation like this. I still might have lost because I was 3 prizes behind. Let me pause that there. I still might have lost because I was 3 prizes behind, but I was already done because of that mistake. Funny enough, I make the same mistake again with this Cram. I see the Wellspring Ogerpon in this game with the Terra Box. I know that they're going to hit the bench and take the 1 prize of the Cram. That Cram is the reason I lose this game, and you'll see why. We trade prizes. Because of that unnecessary prize I gave up. I'll play it out. So they use I take 1 prize to take that 1 prize lead. Take a prize and make my Zacian EX easier to knock out later on, which, you know, tracks. Put a Fez down, which I'm not too worried about. Let me see. Actually, maybe I didn't even need that Fez there, because if I had supporters in hand. No, I Fez into supporters. Because I wind up just like partially hitting into it regardless. So maybe you could argue that Fez was unnecessary there as well, because it gets knocked out here in a second as well. Because I whiff and can only partially damage it and set that Latias EX for a knockout. And that I do get punished from the Fez, which is okay because I can follow it up with a knockout as well. There's my headset turning off. But yeah, here I'm able to prime catch and tie up the game. They take 1 prize. I take 2 prizes. And I should be sitting pretty, but because they should be at 3 prizes right now, and me going down to 1 here, but because it's just 2 and there's a softened up Zacian, they can wind up taking game with a pretty solid play with the MEW EX. But I should have been able to survive another turn and me take another knockout with the Bloodmoon or something else. I did have the Duraludon down, so that would have been a knockout against most of those pieces anyways, and I'm just another game I gave up by unnecessary benching. So don't do that if you're playing this deck. If I play my outs, set up a Brave Slash in case they don't have the Gust, I would have been ahead on prizes, so regardless they would have the counter catcher play here. But even if they did, that's a setup Bloodmoon that's gone to the bench. It should be retaking the MEW EX knockout, but that is what it is. Now, this is a Eevee deck. I see the Eevee, I see the Hoo-Hoo and I'm like, it's a Terra Box deck. But I see the Eevee and I'm like, oh, this is an Evolution deck. Evolution decks bother me because Flareon is my guy for weakness. It's hard for me to hit that 270, so I was pretty worried. But that wasn't the case. They play Leafeon here, and maybe the Flareon was prized or something. So maybe they should have beat me. But this one's a pretty solid example of how this deck plays. With an Arven and Nest Ball in hand, I'm able to Prime Catcher and take a knockout, eat a hit with the Zacian, soften something up, you know, take a hit with the Cram, which, you know, that partially set up Snorlax there is all pretty great. 2 Nest Balls, too easy. Yeah, soften something up with the Zacian. Sorry, I'm hesitating a lot in this part. I know I can't like take a knock, but I know that, you know, regardless, I'm a prize ahead, so I'll gladly soften it up. They do get a knockout because the 3rd damage on, they hit their 230 attack. Yep, that's okay. I have a Cram that I knew could take this knockout. 2 Metal Energy in the discard, so I could Duraludon Brave Slash on one of these 270 guys. I don't wind up needing it, but that's okay. 1 prize ahead here, and they brick, so I just keep swinging with that Cram. Yep. Yep. Set up backups. And I do take the extra mile here, setting up the Zacian for Brave Slash, because I'm at this point understanding that they can't one-shot him, and I'm expecting they need to be able to Gust to take out the Sylveon after this Cram hits. So I can't quite Brave Slash in that moment, but they kind of gave up right here. Here's a funny one. So, before I go too crazy, I'm here setting up that Brave Slash. I do have Boss in hand, but I can't technically use it because I'm 1 injury away from Brave Slashing. But it does set me up as in a 2-prize lead, so I probably would have fought it out, you know, soften it up with the Snorlax and win game. Now, let me pause it here. This is another Dreepy deck, or a Dragapult deck that plays Just Snore that I beat. Not because of the consistency of it, but I set this up all the time. The Zacian EX that can hit that can hit 90, very consistent, and that Badoo on the bench because for some reason they valued the fire energy on the Dreepy more instead of slowing me down. And take the 2-prize lead, but they just straight up conceded, so that was funny. In this next game, I start with Moon, and I'm like, oh, that sucks, I'm starting with Moon. That's probably not good for me, but that's okay. I wind up setting up just one Zacian, and I just start throwing energy on the Moon, and to use that as a backup attacker, because why not? I almost got 2 prizes there, but I'll take a Dragapult that's easier to knock out. But they are playing less consistent here. They re-bench up a Badoo for some reason, so I can take a 3-prize lead here, which is funny. I don't opt to start putting a bunch of stuff on the board just yet because Dragapult and catching up with weird numbers, but they're overbenching here and that causes issues. I'm not even worried about the Dusclops in the corner. I take the prize lead here, and I'd gladly be glad if they gave me the extra prize that way, even if it did knock out my Zacian. That's pretty funny here. Yep, 2-prize lead. They do set up. No, they're not going to adjust for and put it at 2 prizes, which I kind of expected them to. They figured that they could slow me down with the Jamming Tower, but I have 2 Postwicks in hand, play 4 of them. So the Jamming Tower is only hemming me up like once or twice. Once or twice since those became popular. Here I am being extra with the Metal Energies because you never know when I need a Brave Slash for a game. But soften up, take 2 prizes, finish with a Cram knockout, put me at 1 prize. In this situation, they just keep throwing the damage counters on the Bloodmoon, which I don't mind because they would still have to Gust it to knock it out and put 6 damage counters on something else that doesn't equal to more prizes. So I just wind up kind of bulldozing them. So it depends. There's games where Gardevoir and Dragapult just schwack me, and there's times like this where I just kind of eat. Oh, and this is my last game, so I'll just let it play out then. And I've kind of felt bad about this. I just top decked that Blaster game. Who knows if without the boss if that was enough, but I did that the Switch, so I could have hit into it again and kept going, but that's okay. And that's it. Questions, comments, concerns. I really just wanted to show gameplay off, some of the weird situations I saw through just a normal play session, and hopefully that was a bit more interesting than an hour and a half of gameplay, because that was an hour and a half of gameplay condensed into hopefully about 20 minutes of me talking, so I'd really like some feedback on it, so have a good one. Hop Zacian.